The Midnight Riders I am introducing today played a valuable role in the early history of our nation. As a child, I've always loved studying the American Revolution, and even as I got older, I never stopped reading about it. But one of the things I learned was that Paul Revere was not the only person to write and spread the news of British military threats in April of 1775. Today, we are going to survey some of the historical backgrounds that led up to that event. We'll discuss some of the other writers that were busy in April 1775, and then we will discuss the impacts these four men had on the history of our nation. But rather than jumping straight into Paul Revere and his midnight ride, I'd like to talk about what was happening in the colonies in April, or before April 1775. To put it mildly, England and the American colonies weren't getting along very well. Britain had begun levying new taxes, which many of the colonists felt was an infringement upon their rights. Now, the Sons of Liberty was one of the protest organizations which arose during this time, and they sought to oppose these violations of their rights, and also worked to facilitate communication between like-minded groups within the colonies. Now, perhaps one of the best-known instances associated with the Sons of Liberty is the Boston Tea Party. And this is obviously a classic example of the Sons of Liberty and their work. As tensions increased, the military presence in the colonies began to grow on both sides. Britain increased the soldiers that they had in the colonies, and the colonists likewise began some militia. Now, some of these local militia groups started to stockpile munitions and work out processes of communication amongst the different groups. One night in April of 1775, the British decided to strike, and they started to move out of Boston. The Patriots caught wind of their plan and discovered a plot to arrest two of their leaders, John Hancock and Samuel Adams, who were in Lexington at the time. From there, the British were going to go on to Concord to try to confiscate the colonial munitions that were stored there. The Patriots, however, planned to meet for their target. But they were well aware that success was going to hinge on swift communication. Someone had to spread the word to the militias in Concord and Lexington. Most of us know Paul Revere was one of the men who rode that night. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, The Midnight Ride, his poem Paul Revere's Ride, published in the Atlantic.com January 1861 issue, portrays that night. Longfellow writes, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friends, if the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church Tower as a signal light, one if by land, two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm to every Middlesex village and farm for the country folk to be up and armed." Revere was sent on his mission by Dr. Joseph Warren of the Boston Sons of Liberty. Revere's specific mission was to warn Adams and Hancock in Lexington, and then continue 7 miles to Concord to warn the militiamen there. But Revere was not the only one to ride that night. William Dawes was also sent by Dr. Warren. As Christopher Klein's article, The Midnight Ride of William Dawes from April 18, 2012 on History.com explains, Dr. Warren was concerned nighttime messengers would have trouble getting all the way from Boston to Lexington without interference from British regulars. Thus, he thought it wise to send 2 men to Lexington via separate routes. Dawes and Revere did both make it to Lexington, though. They delivered their message, and they continued on to Concord together. While they were on their way, they were joined by Samuel Prescott. ConstitutionFacts.com, this undated article, Voices of the Revolution, 5 writers, tells us Prescott was well acquainted with the terrain between Lexington and Concord. He met Dawes and Revere and was there to aid them on the rest of their journey. However, a British patrol thwarted their plans, and Prescott was the only one free to make it all the way to Concord. But make it he did, and the message was delivered. One other writer we're going to look at today is Israel Bissell. Now, Israel's mission was a little bit different. Weber's April 29, 2007 Los Angeles Times.com article, An American History of the Midnight Rider Goes Unsung, recounts Bissell's ride, which began near Boston on April 19, 1775. After the skirmish at Lexington, Colonial General Joseph Palmer sent Bissell on his mission. Bissell was tasked with spreading word of the war's beginning. He traveled 345 miles, from Boston to Hartford, and then on to New York and Philadelphia. He completed this trek in less than 5 days. By the time he finished, 5 colonies had been told the war had started. These riders each had a critical role in the struggle for liberty. Without these 4 men, the colonial struggle for freedom would have looked quite different. Samuel Adams and John Hancock were not arrested in Lexington. The stockpiled colonial munitions in Concord were not confiscated. As Peter Marshall and David Manuel's book, The Light and Glory, published in 2009, explains, the colonial successes on April 19, 1775, gave many colonists the confidence needed to move forward in the struggle for freedom. Marshall and Manuel recount the words of Lexington Reverend Jonas Clark, who, on April 19, 1775, stated, "From this day shall be dated future history, liberty or slavery of the American world." Of course, we all know how the story ended. Today, as we glanced at some of the tensions that led to conflict between Britain and colonial America, we discussed the men who stepped forward and warned of British military threats, and then we caught a glimpse of the impact their actions had on the early days of the War of Independence. Now, over 200 years later, we can look back and recognize the importance their deeds had, not only on the events of one day, but on the founding of the nation, on the founding of our nation, the United States of America.